Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Kotodaman guide video. Today we're going to be going over the bingo for the collaboration with I Was Reincarnated as the 7th Prince, so I could take my time perfecting my magical ability, which is a lovely title. Now the first square does appear to be cleared, but to clarify, we're going to be doing them in order in this video. The first one was automatically cleared because I'd already beaten the stage before. Start off with mission 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is, I think, the clearer way to do it. So mission 1, you need to clear the medium or the advanced difficulty of the Lich stage 1 time, which is not very difficult. So don't worry, I'll have it playing in the background here, my first clear of the lower difficulty stage. Now, with this series... I did actually decide to watch it, because there was only a few episodes out anyway, before I made this video, so that I knew what the hell was going on. And despite the title, it's not an isekai. I really thought it was an isekai. It's not, because the main character was reincarnated, yes, but they were already in the world that they're reincarnated into. They were just a different guy. They died and they reincarnated. Basically, the premise is that they were a wizard, but they weren't like top tier, and they got killed by a top tier wizard. And they were like, "Damn, that guy was cool. I wish I could be reincarnated as a top tier wizard." And they ended up getting born into the royal family, so they could be a top tier wizard. So that's the premise. Fairly basic. And yeah, this event covers like the first 6 or 7 episodes of the series, which is all that's out. It pretty much covers right up until the latest episode released, and then there's nothing else. But sometimes they release something a little bit later in the event, so maybe we'll see more. I don't know. But there we go. Mission 1 done. Very simple stuff. Now, as always, the character that you're getting to max luck, I mean, the first mission is to just clear the stage, which we've done, and then we have to beat the stage 3 times, and later we will need to get this character to max up, but we'll talk about that later. But yes, the character that they choose for you to get to max luck, that is normally the character that they have used as an evolver for characters from the series, and that is the case here. The Lich will be used to evolve most of the characters from this series. I think all of the characters from this series, to be honest, all the ones that evolve anyway. Doesn't that matter that much if you're not summoning, because I think almost all of the event units are going to just start at their top rarity. But if you are going to be summoning, then you will need to obviously try and get Lich to max luck before you start evolving those characters. So that you're not working against yourself, because if a character is max luck, their luck cannot go down. So using copies of them to evolve a character does not make their luck go down. But if they're not on max luck yet, if you use them to evolve another character, their luck will go down. So it's always best to get into max luck first if you are planning on something. I don't imagine many people watching this video will. I would imagine most of you don't even know this series, because I know when the event got announced, I didn't know it, and it's only got like, I think there's a manga. It's based on a light novel originally, but the anime's only been out for like a handful of weeks, I guess. So there's not a lot of episodes there. There's not a lot to it, and when I say it goes right up to where the anime is, like, one of the gacha... No, is she an event character or a gacha character? Well, one of the characters in this event, called Ren, until, like, when this event dropped, I think she'd appeared in one, like, 10-second scene, and she'd appeared in the opening and the ending, and that was it. And it was only the episode that dropped this week where it, like, explored her story more, which came out, like, either just before or just as this event dropped. So obviously they've actually got some work. They've like done some work, the actual anime team, because they're getting advanced stuff that they can use in the event, which is kind of cool. But anyway, I've showed you on screen my first clear of the slightly more difficult stage. And now I'm going to do the slightly more difficult stage, but faster, because I needed to get 3 clears, and you don't really need to see that. So we're going to quickly go through this, and we'll talk more about the farming aspect when we're actually doing the max luck one, although I will be blasting through that as fast as I can. Mission 2 clear. We've beat one of their stages 3 times. Now, it is out of order, so sorry about that, but mission 3, we cleared these missions out of order, but we are putting them in the video in order. Mission 3, get at least 2 answers correct on the Kotodaman X 7th Prince collaboration quiz quest. We all love these. These are the worst. If you can't read Japanese, it's going to be tough. If you haven't seen the series, it's going to be tough. Luckily, all the answers will be in the description. I'll have a link to the video I used if you want to use that. You can also use what's written on the screen. That will help you. It will give you some of the lore of the series, but I mean, you might not even know some of the characters' names. You might not have any of the context. It's a little bit strange. But you only need to get 2 questions right. So hopefully my video can at least help you to get 2, although in theory you can get 10. You don't need to get 10. I think 10 is literally just for bragging rights on Twitter. That's it. But 2, which is all you need, will clear the bingo board spot, and it will actually give you a free summon. 1 single summon that is guaranteed to be a character from this series, a gacha character from this series. Though I will mention that the odds are rather heavily skewed in the favor of it being a 4-star. That's just the way it is. But yes, just do what you can. As long as you get 2, it's fine. And as always, what I've got written on the screen, obviously, probably might be easier for you to see in the description. Take your own time, but you can obviously pause the video at any point. Maybe you want to read the lore translated. That's in the description as well. The lore is... It's an interesting series because it's like... At first it seemed like an isekai, and it's not. But then, like, it's like a power fantasy thing. And it's basically just this guy is just broken. He's just completely broken. Like, I'm trying to think of another series where it's like the main character's so unbelievably strong that it's just like, what's even the point? It's like almost One Punch Man levels of tomfoolery. And it's like, oh, it's obvious everyone knows he's good, but I don't know how good he is, sort of thing. It's, you know, it's a weird series. What you're seeing on screen is actually the 5-star version of the 4-star version of the like limited or special unit from this event. And that is the prince, the main character, and the little demon is like, it's supposed to be some ancient evil that he's like just tamed because he was so strong that the demon was like, yo, maybe I don't mess with this guy. Maybe I'll be his like underling or whatever. Yeah, that actually evolves into a different pair of characters. It evolves into the prince with like his maid with the silver hair. But yeah, again, I don't think a lot of people are gonna watch the series, so I don't know. Might be worth checking out a couple of episodes, see how you feel about it. But anyway, that's another mission cleared. 3 missions down. Now number 4, we'll talk about in a second, was the one that was already cleared at the start of the video. So we're going to be going back to see that stage. And here's my free summon. And of course I got the 4-star, which is, there's no surprise there. I think most people will get the giant dog, which is the 4-star. So going back to actually do the story mode stage, I'll show you where you have to click, but obviously if you're doing it the way you normally would from the mission board, you just click on the mission and you click the button, it'll take you there. But we're doing stage 6 of this like red fire country story mode. This is like the beginner story mode. You definitely don't want any of your medals on because you don't want to boost drops for this because the drops are just useless garbage. And this stage, it's a beginner stage. It is very easy. Even with like all the gimmicks on, like when I go into this stage, you can see I don't have the units required to like really counter the gimmick. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's how weak the gimmicks are, and that's how weak the stage enemies and the bosses are themselves. You don't have to overthink this one. I thought when I went into this, I looked at my combos. I was like, wow, that was tragic. That was truly awful. But then, as you can see, it didn't matter. So that's how easy these quests are, and luckily, that is one of the 9 things you need to do to complete this bingo. So cool. Easy one, right, guys? Easy one. So that is mission 4 cleared. And moving on to mission 5. Mission 5 is probably one of the grindier parts of all of this. You need to get the Lich to max luck. Now, one thing I've put on the screen that hopefully you will remember, there is a daily stage. The daily stage is going to give you about 25 luck each time you do it. So don't forget to do that every day, or at least the one day that you're farming them up to max luck. You might do it over a few days, it's up to you. That makes this a whole lot easier. Way, way, way easier. And don't forget, you can also use your blue medals to boost the drop rate as well. If you do that, then again, gonna make your job a lot easier. And as you can see, just breeze through that. We don't we don't need to dwindle to linger on that. And once they're past 100, you're good. They're done. They are max luck. They're never going to be not max luck. Job done. Very, very nice. And that is another mission down. Now, as you'll recall, I did say that uses the evolver for the gacha units. That will include that free summon you got earlier. So I got the dog, the 4-star. That does evolve to 5-star, and it will need a copy of the Lich, or a few copies to get it to 5-star rarity. But anyway, this is another very easy mission. All you have to do is feed some of these red orbs, or balls, or gems, or whatever they are, to a character. You could do it to any character. I ended up deciding to do it to the Lich because it was like a new character. I had a max luck. I got to level them up anyway. So you will see that I will level them up first with the purple orbs. Don't need to do that for this mission. That's not relevant. Now, I was just getting them to max level. Then you click on HP and attack, and you only need to do the red ones. I did red and blue because I don't really like doing one or the other. If I'm going to give those to a character and boost their stats, I'd rather just give both. I don't really max every character, just mostly collab characters. So you only have to do the reds, and you don't even need to max them out, but just remember, that's what I've done in the video. That's not necessarily what you have to do. You just do the reds and you'll be fine. Next up, you have to beat the daily stage of Pazuzu, which is, in theory, a slightly harder stage, although I was surprised to find that this one wasn't particularly difficult. But it is a daily version. The daily version typically is a little bit easier. There will be a standard version of this event that should be a little bit more challenging. But obviously, if you're playing throughout the whole event, you don't even need to do the standard version of the stage if you don't want to. You could just beat the daily stage each day, and then by the end of the event, you'll have the character maxed. The Lich launched on the first day event, the second the event dropped. Pazuzu dropped a little bit later, which is why this part of the video was out of sequence in terms of recording, just because I couldn't do this in my first recording session. So that's just, it is what it is, you know? But as you can see, we're trying to break the barriers. Those are healing barriers. And in theory, characters can heal off of them, but not if you're absolutely battering them. They can't. It's not going to help them much. And as you can see, even with them trying to stop me, it's just really not doing that much. They can... Now, this is another thing. The subordinates on these stages tend to get revived. What I should have been doing was targeting Pazuzu from the get-go. I didn't have the units I needed to break through the barrier initially. But I did enough damage that I knew I was probably going to be able to do it this time. So I went for it. And I do believe I did it because I got a lucky extra combo I wasn't expecting. And yeah, as you can see, I broke through the barriers. Not the best combo to finish on for Mirio, but that's fine. As you can see, we are doing a lot of damage. It's a very... I mean, this... Bear in mind, this is a team with like a luck leader. This is not like a main boosted team. So, the fact that we're doing this much damage means this is surprisingly easy. I say surprisingly because some of the events we've had recently, it's actually been a little bit difficult, some of the stages. There was that one story mode stage that was like really difficult they wanted us to beat. Admittedly, that was for 5,000 gems, not 1,000. But still, it was challenging, I think. I struggled with it a little bit, and I know there'll be some people who did as well, but I know they did include a unit specifically to help you counter it that I didn't use. I get that. But did she help that much that, like, it made the stage easy? I don't think so. But anyway, you just gotta beat the little buddy enemies, which are not too difficult. Just lightly tap them, and it's job done. And that's another quest down. Very nice. Now, all these stages do have music from the show. I don't know if I'll be able to keep that in. Every time we have this, like, am I able to do that? Last couple of events, I haven't been able to do that, but those were for quite big series, and I don't know. This is quite a small series, so I don't know if it's okay or not. We'll see. We'll see. Yes. That is mission 7 complete, and on to mission 8. Mission 8, we have to beat the Poison Blighted stage. This is the character I was talking about, Ren, who, at the time of this event being announced, had hardly been in the show at all. Basically hadn't been in the show yet. But this character has now appeared, and in the latest episode, there is a focus on her and the Assassin's Guild, and so... Fair enough, fair enough. But this event actually dropped again, day 1. So it was like kind of weird because it was like, even people watching the anime are like, who? I barely even know this character, but now you know. Now you know if you've been watching week to week, I guess. So here we have another barrier, but this is a slightly different barrier. It's supposed to block your damage, but I don't think it blocks it completely. So you'll see when the characters go to do damage, if it's a 0, it won't even play the ultimate attack because it's 0 damage. They don't want you to sit through the ultimate attack there to do no damage. But just breaking one of these barriers is enough to weaken her enough, or weaken the barrier enough, that my damage goes above 0. So you will start seeing the specials when I break the first barrier, even though the second one isn't broken. And that's just how you know you are doing damage. On this stage, I would say the bomb is the biggest threat. The barrier, you will break it eventually, even if you're not really playing that well. The poison is not that high damage, and even if you have like a minor like healer somewhere, that will basically offset any poison damage, so that's fine. It's really just the bomb. The bomb does a lot of damage, and you can only take maybe 2 or 3 of those before you're done. So you can see now one of her barriers is still up, the other one is still is down. So we are doing damage, not a lot of damage, but you are seeing the ultimate attack scarf, which you know means we're doing damage. But breaking that barrier is important. You can see the poison, we got hit by 4 there for like 1600. That's nothing, right? Compared to, like, I think the bomb does like 15k or something like that. It's so much more, and that will hit you literally every turn if you fail to do combos of green or whatever it's like heavenly units or whatever, the white crystal-y looking ones. So I just made a green team. It was just easier for me. Obviously you can make different teams, that's up to you. And I can't remember if we beat her this turn or next turn, but obviously we're going to start stacking damage, especially with the Tokyo Revengers units. They do like to buff one another, which helps, because when the next one comes on, they're going to do even more damage, And we got some nice green units, so I was actually trying to show off just like a few different ones. Like I'm always using kind of the same ones, so I stuck in a couple. Also, for those of you wondering how I got some of the units from Bochi the Rock that I didn't summon. I did more summons. Yeah, I didn't do a video on it, but I had some extra gems, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I might as well. And I got everyone in the end. I got everyone in the end, which was really nice. I was really happy about that. Cost me a lot of gems, which is why I don't have quite as many as I'd like, but it is what it is. And here you can see me trying to make the best of a not great board. Obviously, the blue team I used earlier and the green team I'm using here, because I was trying to squeeze a few units in here and there. While I did have a lot of good like leading words, like the ka and the ta and the ha and the ke, I didn't have a lot of good follow-up words like basically and e, which are really nice to have, but it gives you 2 e anyway, so you can see I've got high key and there. Whenever it gives you like good leads, for example here we've got ret, and it's obviously it wants me to put an I there. You could put an N there, I guess, but I don't even have an N, I don't think. But yeah, you could have put E, so it's like Ray or whatever, but I didn't have any. So I was just trying to make something work. I didn't really have the best units. I didn't really have the best units, but this is what happens when you don't team build. I didn't have the units for the gimmicks. I didn't have the units for the combos. It makes the stage take a lot longer than it needs to. This is a relatively easy farm. I just sort of made a meal of it, unfortunately. But luckily, and you can see, look, the bomb damage there, huge, because I didn't do the combos properly. But I think I sorted it out here because I've got a pretty decent setup. And yeah, it's just it's a case of when you're building, you might not necessarily know initially what you want to bring, but after you've tried the stage a couple of times, you're gonna know, okay, I need more of this hiragana, or I need units that resist this, or I need somebody to do this gimmick or whatever. And then it's gonna make your life a lot easier. And I assume I beat it here, but don't hold me to that, because obviously this run has taken longer than it should have, as it is. And it's going to be Draken to finish it off, who should be sufficiently buffed by now. Decent damage, job done. And that stage you get like little coins, and you can trade those coins in for rewards at the event store. But for the sake of this bingo, I only need to clear it once, and then that is job done. So there we go. And we're moving on to the final mission, which is great. Now, for the final mission, we're just going to get our reward here. For the final mission, it is a story mode stage. Now, this is the brand new story mode that came out for the Anniversary Part 2. Or like following the Anniversary Part 2. I think it was announced during Anniversary Part 2. But this is a whole new section to story mode that wasn't there before. You can see it showing me a description of like how you get. This is one of the new characters from this event. And there's 2 more characters from this event. And a lot of them do get bonuses for having like certain levels of luck and stuff like that. The initial process, I'm going to quickly speed through because the first 5 stages are just story. There's no playing the game. But stage 6, which is the one we need to beat, there is an actual stage you need to beat. So once again, I did jump into this not knowing anything, no gimmicks, nothing. So I wasn't too sure if I was going to be able to beat it quickly. I don't actually remember if I did beat it quickly. So let's watch together and let's see if I managed it. Again, some story mode stages are not easy. Straight up, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Some of them are awful. They are so difficult. Luckily, this is not one of those stages. Like, I've seen story mode stages where like the spike damage is ridiculously high. But you're going to see here, it's not that high. It's not that bad. And once again, we are fighting against one of those like barriers. Even though I didn't really have the units to get rid of them, still got rid of it. Still got rid of it. Easy peasy. So yeah, it's not a difficult stage, which is nice because you can farm this character up to max luck, and there is another character as well. I think the other character is tied to an event outside a story. And then there's the blue character, which they showed initially, which is also tied to this. So lots of free characters if you want them, but they're not collab units, which is what most people care about, unfortunately. But that is it. We're done with the bingo boards. You can see we're getting the new character, the frog, which is cool. And yeah, so we got like a lot of luck on those characters there, but you don't get everything handed to you here. You've got to do the whole story mode first. But yes, the bingo, as it is filmed out of sequence, that video didn't look like I was completing it, but here you go. There it is. Bingo board completed. And you get your 1,000 gemmies. And I thought, you know what? 1,000 gemmies, might as well do a summon. They're giving me one for free. I'll do one single multi. Now, there is a part 2 to the bingo. We're not doing that because it doesn't give gems. Pretty straightforward and pretty fair, I think. Most people are only going to care about the gems as rewards. So I did one free multi because I've watched this series and while I don't think it's that great, I did get some enjoyment out of it, but unfortunately, I didn't get any luck. I got a bunch of 3 stars and 4 stars. Now, there is a bamboozle animation you can get where it's like a silver or a gold and it becomes a 5-star. But I didn't get it, sadly. So, not the best. We just got a couple of copies of Shiro the dog. And that's it. But that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video helped you finish off the bingo. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.